This is a video just suggesting that there's another way of keeping in touch with people that you love that you might not have considered before. And it's kind of longer format voice memos that you can text back and forth or send back and forth on whatever platform. And they're asynchronous, so you don't have to be in the same time zone or in the mood to talk or listen at the same time. In the age of podcasts, I'm sure we all get that it's nice to have something to listen to with your headphones, your wireless headphones, while you do other things like drive or clean or do something mundane, you know? Um, there's a multitude of total strangers that are people we don't know and we'll never know, but that are subject matter experts, you know, talking about some shit like that we could listen to in the form of a podcast. That's fine. Or like YouTube, like there's certain influencers on YouTube that I listen to their stuff. Like that's great. It's great. But you can actually do that with each other. You can do that with each other, and it's incredibly rewarding. And you might think that the same kind of subject matters and treatments would come out of it as if you were talking face to face, or as if you were talking on the phone, or as if you were even texting. And the fact is, really much more rich, much more nuanced, much more contextualized uh, types of dialogue will come out of it, asynchronous dialogue. And so, in a world, you know, where you have the choice to write letters, that's really fallen off. You can write emails, you can text, you can call, you can hang out, you can FaceTime. Like, those are pretty much the ways that we can keep touch with people. If you haven't considered voice memos texted essentially back and forth, then you know, maybe not with everybody that you know, but there might be somebody that you think of where you're like, I'd really like to keep better touch with that person, you know? Not everybody's into it, but people are, in my experience, a lot more into it than they think they're going to be. Once they figure out that, like, it really, like, unlocks this new dimension of the relationship, whatever kind of relationship that is. It, like, unlocks a new level of intimacy that's, like, actually much more approachable and much more easy than via these other ways of staying in touch. And they all have their pros and cons, you know, each of them has their pros and cons. But this one's really underrated. It's really quite fascinating. Another, like, a thing that is kind of surprising, I think, to everybody. I'm kind of like Grand Central Station. I think there's like 7 people that I regularly stay in touch with via long form voice memos. And I think that I'm the only one that they communicate with, that, you know, in that way. I may or may not be, but like I'm like the hub of this because I kind of get everybody started on it. Because it's just, there's no second best. Like, this is just incredible, you know. So one of the unexpected side effects of this, like for everybody, is that they tend to also end up listening back to their own voice message. And that whole thing about how everybody hates the sound of their own voice, that's a band-aid that gets ripped off like so quickly. Like, no one needs to live in fear for their entire life of hearing the sound of their own voice. It sounds weird to everybody for like the first 30 seconds, and then you actually start to fall in love with it. You just have to listen for more than 30 seconds, and then you're like, it's actually surprising that you sound more articulate than you think. You dove deeper than you realized that you did. You said it more clearly. It's really a beautiful thing to kind of like take that back a little bit and be like, that it was so much better than I thought. I have the same experience with these YouTubes where it's to me on the inside, it seems like just like a interstate pileup disaster. Like when I'm on this side of it, and then I watch back and I'm like, okay, you know, like I basically got it out there. Voice memos are the same thing. So you get to, you know, enjoy the deepening intimacy of having offered a lot more than what's really viable via these other formats. Also receiving more from your friend, your loved one. Also realizing that your own kind of transmission is actually a lot more beautiful than you would have thought, and that you're capable of a lot more than you thought there. It's definitely great for long distance type friendships and relationships, but even for people that like I do see them on a somewhat regular basis, or when I do see those people that I'm very close to, could be related to, we have a different depth that we go to with long form voice memos than we do in person. And you learn that the medium of exchange actually has a lot to do with what can arise and what really can't arise. And as a student of writing in grad school, I learned that, like I have a feeling. And if I'm going to write a poem about it, I can get this out of it. If I'm going to write prose about it, I can get this out of it. If I'm going to write, creative nonfiction, I'm going to get this out of it. So mediums of exchange with other people are the same way. And they're actually, I have personally not found a better one than long form voice memos. And just to address like the technicalities of this, I have an iPhone and I've never had an Android, but if you have an iPhone, then there's a voice memo app that's actually on your phone that you can just record whatever length of thing that you want to. And then there's a little like 3-dot like share thing. And if it's over 20-ish minutes, you're not going to maybe be able to text it directly through SMS. In which case you could use something free like Dropbox, which is very convenient for the other person, because then if you share it to Dropbox and then share the Dropbox link, then they can just click on that and it will be playing. Even if they lock their phone, even if they switch to another app, if they stop it, then it's going to restart in the same place. Versus if you just record it on voice memo and send it via a text, then if they lock their phone or their phone auto locks, this is what messes people up largely when they first kind of navigate the long form voice memo project. Their phone is actually set to auto lock, but they don't realize that because there's really nothing going on for that long. So then when they open it again, it starts from scratch again. So Dropbox is actually a great way to go. And then there's some platforms, like if I just record a voice message with my normal voice memo app and send it over to Telegram, it formats it beautifully, and it's really easy for that person kind of on a player to like listen to that over there. X, I need to send a Dropbox link. Messenger, you can send something like fairly lengthy, but then if you turn your phone sideways, like if I'm listening to somebody's message on Messenger and I turn my phone sideways, or my phone gets turned sideways, then it like stops and messes up. So basically Dropbox or Telegram. I would say Telegram, like if you're not already on Telegram, that's like the best way to go, but Dropbox is like the second best way to go. So anyway, I've been a truck driver for a long time, off and on, and going through different time zones and stuff like that. And so I wanted to, if you have so long to listen to all of the music you ever wanted to listen to and all the podcasts that you ever wanted to listen to, that's done, and you want to like keep touch with your people, but you're going in and out of reception and you're going through different time zones and stuff like that, then that's sort of where I really like leaned into the voice message thing with the people close in my life at the time. But even before that, I had a friend that we would text each other, don't answer your phone. And I think each of us had like a 90-second like voicemail option to like leave a message, and then it would like cut you off after 90 seconds. And we would leave sequentially, like we would like call like 4 times in a row and like leave like 4 sequential voice messages, because we were like trying to finish a thought. This was sort of like the early stages of finding out that this is just, sometimes we talked on the phone, but sometimes it's just a better way. And you end up being able to better describe that relationship between your action journey and your emotional journey that's happening for all of us. And if you're not familiar with those kinds of terms, I think I got those from Abraham Hicks, but there's different ways of saying it. But it's like, we're all, wherever you go, there you are. Like, we're all navigating a world of our own reactions to things and our own feelings about things that's like projected all over everything. And in the meantime, we're checking the mail, or we're going to work, or that's the action journey stuff, and, having like keeping up with people I think for men that looks one way, like for male friends, and for female friends that looks like a dramatically different way. And I understand that men, they kind of can't show each other their neck, you know. I think that deep dive, kind of like what's my emotional journey kinds of conversations actually probably are more likely between a woman and a woman, or a man and a woman, not so much between a man and a man, because they can't, they certainly can, they have a lot going on. Like, I have never met anybody ever in my life that doesn't have like a crazy way more lot going on under the surface than would seem obvious, like once I start talking to them. And I kind of have this little bit of a karma too, where I don't know, I can like get in there and like do that rapport thing like pretty quickly, you know. um but I understand that there's just some like stuff in place. It's not that men are shut down. It's just that they work a lot differently, and they're probably not gonna like really dive deep with each other. And even when they do, they still have their man shit that they have to have their man card, you know. And it's like there's a certain sort of decorum to that, you know, even if they've been friends for years or decades. And they, you know, they can negotiate that. But it might be more likely for what I'm talking about, which a voice memo form, a long form voice memo format, you know, is the premier milieu for uh, really like intimacy deepening types of conversations, that will take the friendship like way deeper and further than any other format. Even hanging, I think it's great to like hang out too, but I'm just saying it like nothing will take it deeper and further. um and that might be most likely to be accomplished between like male and female friends, and female friends, you know. um it's not, I mean, there certainly is, you know. I think it's true that women are more verbal than men, and we, you know, clock so many more words even when we're kids than men do, and we're just like very chatty and verbal, right? But in my experience, men are fucking actually super verbal. They just have to have the right situation for it. They're thinking and feeling and noticing and connecting like all the time. They're just not willing to put that out there like in the wrong situation, like in a situation that doesn't feel super emotionally safe to them. And, you know, women will kind of largely like put our stuff out there, you know. That's not the way that we need to protect ourselves per se, is to like shut down, right? So there's a lot going on there with like men and women. But I just, for me, and maybe I just wanted to offer this. Maybe this is something you already know. You're like, duh, or, you know, or this fucking sucks and isn't interesting or whatever. But it's like it's been years. It's been years of long format voice memo communicating with my closest friends, and it's not that my closest friends were willing to long format voice memo with me and the not closest friends weren't. It's that the people that were willing to long format voice memo with me and that also found value in that became my closest friends. Because hello, you know what I mean? Like, you can't get closer with people than you do like by this mechanism. Really, it's just it's so good. It's so good. You have so much more to say than you think. I promise you. And each of us really is a presence in each other's lives. And I'm not the same presence for this person as I am for that person. And this person isn't the same presence for me as they are for somebody else. You know, like, not only is each of us a unique presence in the world with a sort of unique, like, signature, like, feeling, place, like, flavor, but we are a signature to each person that knows us. And so wildly different things. You might think it's like weird that I keep up with like 7 people, generally speaking, via long format voice memo. And what am I, just like saying the same thing 7 times? No, like absolutely different kinds of like subjects and ways of thinking about my own life and what's going on with me or whatever, and like responding to them obviously comes to bear with each person, because each one, not only is each one such a signature, radically different kind of presence, but I'm a radically different signature kind of presence, different for each one of those people. And it's like super interesting to explore. I'm not saying you have to like pick up 7 people. Okay. I'm just saying like this, if there's somebody in your life that, you know, you would like to be able to stay closer or to dive deeper, or, you know, like just have it on your radar, because you have the technology on your phone. I don't know what Android users do, but I'm sure there's something, you know. Um, and we're just we're we're really only as happy as the aggregate of our like human relationships healthfulness like allow us to be. I don't care. Like there can be so much going right for you in your life, like financially and with your lifts and health wise and with your possessions or your job or whatever. And if your aggregate of your human relationships aren't in a good feeling place, then you're not going to be feeling very good. And the converse as well, the vice versa as well. Like our human relationships are they shouldn't be something that we have to like work so freaking hard to maintain. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying, oh, you need to really put in this like elbow grease. I'm saying it's fun. It's really fun. It should be fun. If it's not fun, then maybe don't be doing it with that person. Any of it, I mean. But to the extent that you can kind of like grow your human relationships like a garden, where it's like that you just walk outside and there's like these delightful like fruits that you didn't even know you planted and stuff. It's like, wow, it's so cool. And really, I think our human commerce with each other, which is the most rewarding thing that we'll ever experience, and it's also the most frustrating thing that we'll ever experience. And there's like literally 1 million ways that our human commerce with each other can go wrong, if not more, infinite ways that it can go wrong. I think that it really pays to, first of all, like I talked about yesterday with journaling, to like invest in like an intimacy practice with yourself, and then to like extend that out as much as you can in what feels like a comfortable way, in what feels like a safe way, but to really like give people the gift of your presence. That's sorry, that's I didn't even know that till I said it, but that's the point of the video. Like give people the gift of your presence. And there's something about our voices that is so much more evocative. We can tell so much more about each other through our voices than we can any other way. You can hear everything in someone's voice, and you give someone so much with your voice because your presence is really, really in your voice. So, you know, I remember this is going to seem like unconnected, but I remember a couple years ago, like some psychic or something told me that she thought maybe I should look into being like a tantric sex coach or something. Like this is like a wild thing. And I was like, and I didn't even know what like tantra was. I'd heard of it, but I had to like look it up on the internet, and it basically said that tantra is like intentional presence practice combined with like sex. And I was like, what are you people out there doing? Like, I thought that's what it was. Like, are there people like not doing that? That's crazy. And there has to be like a name for it to like, as a thing to like, that shocked me. It absolutely shocked me. I didn't go into like being a tantric sex coach person, but I guess I've just always taken it for granted, to the point that I'm like shocked when I learned to the contrary. I'm just like taking it for granted that all the different ways that we like relate to each other as humans, that we're supposed to give people the gift of our presence and receive the gift of their presence. And apparently, I guess people are out there like holding themselves off from their close connections, and their close connections are holding themselves off from them. Everybody's like being stuffy, and Lord, I wasn't born into a world to do that at all. So I don't know. Like, I don't know what my medicine here is that I'm supposed to be bringing, but I'm continuously shocked that people don't just like really like fucking get down with themselves and get down with each other in terms of, and I'm not talking about sex. Okay. I am not talking about promiscuity. I am talking about presence. And it's like actually really frustrating to me that a lot of like my perspectives on this are mistaken for being like sexual perspectives. That's like not the first time that kind of like misunderstanding has come up. And I'm like, no, like, do you know what I'm saying? Like somehow we think that we're just like stiff and like held off from each other, and that the only way we do connect is through sex. But that's in this sort of like, oh, okay, did it, like get back, like retreat back. Like I don't understand. I don't get that, you know. Like I guess what I bring to bear with my human relationships is like I'm really fucking having a process with myself clearly, and like I'd like you to be a part of it, you know? And that somehow, I guess, you know, emotional intimacy is really like a mutual striptease where, you know, you could start with like, how was your day? It was fine. How was your day? It was fine. Also, I just saw something that reminded me of a time that made me very grateful that I've come so far since that time, but also it just sort of like rattled me a little bit, you know? Like, I know you're already thinking this is what chicks do, okay? But this is what dudes do too. Like, men feel these ways too. They might not say it to the other men, but they fucking say it to me. And then the more, do you know what I'm saying about like a mutually allowing like striptease emotionally, is that we give each other, you only have as much permission in a relationship to freely be transparent to the extent that you feel like the other person is, you know, and that they're not gonna like really rock the boat for them or have them like withdraw. None of us like to be rejected, you know, so you kind of gotta like approach that with people. And it's not everybody's worth it. Not everybody's worth voice memoing with. Not everybody's worth being friends with, you know, or relating with. But hopefully, like, my life is filled with people who are worth it, and I hope that your life is filled with people who are worth it. And some of those people might live far away, or some of those people, even if they don't live far away, it might benefit you. Maybe you live in the same house with them. It might, you know, it might be like a new way to connect in that relationship. And again, I just can't say enough about how convenient it is. Like, what, like, I just think it's a little bit weird that we're all driving around or going around in the world and like listening to podcasts and audiobooks and stuff like that. That's great. That shit is great. Like, I'll never argue that. But it's like, you could be doing that with people who fucking matter to you and you matter to them, and it would be that much better. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have the technology, people. We have the technology. So that's just my little plug for long format voice memoing. And I mean, it's not unusual for me to give or receive a voice memo that's an hour and a half long, and people are like, like, what do you even say? It's like, you'd be amazed. You would be amazed, you know. So I'm not asking you to sign up for that. I'm just offering this as another, you know, kind of intimacy practice with the people that are closest to you. Not everybody, you know, I think it kind of seems weird to everybody, but next thing you know, you're like, blah, blah, blah. It's like it's actually really cool. It's actually really cool. So just putting that on your radar. That's it. Just put it on your radar. Hope you're well.